Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to a special edition of the Nuvee Club Podcast. From the East Coast all the way to the West Coast, my name is Big Mike, broadcasting live from Long Island, New York, joined as always by Sanjay Singh in Brooklyn. Sanjay, how are you?
I'm doing well, Big Mike. How about yourself?
I am newly kidney stone free. It's been a while since we talked to the people, and we are very, yes, everybody loves the fact that the big man had his innards thrashed to get me back on the straight and narrow. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. I'm feeling better than ever. You might ask yourself, what is the Nuvee Club Podcast? Well, me and Sanjay Singh are just unlikely friends. We love movies. We love talking about movies. We love thinking about movies. We love making movies. And we even love TV shows, variety things, lots of things, entertainment. We love talking about it. We love watching it. And we love sharing our thoughts and opinions. This is the Nuvee Club Podcast. It's the Nuvee Club Podcast. That's the words to the song, the Nuvee Club Podcast. Sanjay set this up with us. We have some special guests joining us. We have Rob Pugliese, Richard Roy, and PK Simone from the Red Rob Roy show, now exclusively. I know it's available because I've been watching the episodes on your favorite streaming site, nuku.com, nukhu.com. Boys, welcome to the show.
Oh, hi. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, guys. Congrats on the Stones.
Yeah.
I had those 2 years ago. That was the worst experience of my life.
Yeah. He was a big baby about it.
I had to go to the hospital. I had to get surgery.
Me too. I actually had to have 2 surgeries. But tonight's not about me and my enormous penis. Tonight is about the Red Rob Roy show. But let's let Sanjay do a little bit of the background on how we got here tonight.
So the Red Rob Roy show, a great sketch comedy show in the flavor and the vein of the old 90s, early 2000s Spike TV. You gentlemen are comics and put together this hilarious series that we have the pleasure of screening on nuku.com. And the series has been around for about 2 weeks now. It's been online. We've had viewers come on and check it out. And we wanted to have this Q&A to speak with you about the origins of the series and some challenges and some favorite moments in the making of it. So why don't you guys start by telling us where the title came from?
Did the title come from? Well, we just kind of found a word for each of our names, and they all started with R. So I have red hair, so I'm Red. Classic. This is Rob, and this is Rich Roy. Yeah. And it became the Red Rob Roy show. It took us a long time to figure that one out. Yeah. If we had known from the get-go just how horribly everyone would pronounce it after that, we would definitely have not done that name. Regret it all the time.
If you had to say, when did the idea for this show begin and to where we are now, how much time are we talking? Is this years? Is it months? Is it decades? How much time went into the preparation that led to what people can see at nuku.com?
Yeah, the show, well, me and Rob have been making online sketches as long as like 10 years ago. And then Rich came in about a year after that. And so we had like online sketches that we have been accumulating for quite a long time. And at one point it was actually during COVID, we thought, could we put these sketches together in sort of a narrative way that it could be a TV series? And so we edited a pilot together, and we filmed the narrative part all over Zoom, and because it was COVID, so we were all at our houses, and we told this really dumb story, the same story that you see in the first episode, but it was reshot once we started working with Fallout Productions. So we brought that pilot to Fallout Productions, and they were interested in doing the whole season. And so we had been making online sketches for quite some time. The TV show kind of became an idea just after COVID, once we got the interest of Tim Somerville at Fallout.
And how did that happen exactly? Because we live in this world now where anybody with a phone ultimately becomes a content producer and a content creator. And you guys have reached this level that I'm sure there are thousands, maybe millions of people that see folks like yourself get to that point. The production value is high on the content. It's got a continuity to it. It looks like something you would see if you tune to Channel 5 on your television. So describe that process for us.
First, I'm going to figure out if Channel 5 is an insult or a compliment.
I'm saying it as a compliment because that's where I learned all my comedy was from watching The Honeymooners and Odd Couple and Seinfeld late at night, Channel 5, Channel 11. That was how I grew up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think a lot of luck happened for us in the sense that, you know, me and Rich are both in the film and TV industry already. So we had a lot of both skills in creating higher level production and had a lot of connections in the industry. So we could put a really good crew together. Tim at Fallout was also another kind of just lucky situation for us because I had worked with him also before. He had brought me onto one of his productions for a feature film. So at one point, he had approached me with, do I have any ideas for feature film and other scripts and such? And I had sent him a few that he thought was really bad. And I sent him this pilot thinking there was no way he would be interested. He ended up seeing the genius of it.
Well, that's great. You know, I definitely resonate with the spark that Tim saw that Fallout Productions in the series, in the pilot. And I'm curious, you know, there's a lot of recurring characters and call outs to kind of the struggles of being content creators. In one of the scenes, you have a character where you're talking about being a comic since you were 14 years old. And so I think having in several episodes this call out to the difficulties of trying to make it in this industry and kind of the meta approach of creating a sitcom or creating a series around it speaks to a lot of the relevant struggles that creators are dealing with today. So I'm curious if there was any specific inspirations that maybe led to that or inspired that intention.
I think we tried it for that pilot where we were like, well, it's just us trying to make the show as our interstitials, which is what we call them in between the sketch. And then we just kept going on that idea, just reiterating on it for the following episodes and trying to make it we wanted it to be somewhat different from other sketch shows, I guess.
I find it interesting that you say it's different because it is very different. I feel in the way that the skits, it's not like there's a set time limit like you're watching a Saturday Night Live where you know you're in for, you know, a 4 to 8 minute bit. And sometimes the skits end so like quickly or abruptly that your mind is almost catching up with what the show is presenting in its entire 30 to 40 minute block. Is that by design, or do you feel that the skits come to a natural end on their own?
I'd say there was very little by design. I think, you know, we edited it. Like, you know, I've done a lot of post-production work in my life, but I have never edited an entire TV series. So this was really a lot of building the plane while we're flying it. And, you know, we would sit literally in the same room at the computer and watching things and cutting out what we could and finding the flow that worked best as we were watching and laughing. So a lot of times we think we really nailed that. We think we really nailed the flow of it, but it's quite possible that, you know, you are catching up to, are we in a sketch world or are we in an interstitial world? But to be honest, like, I don't know if that matters as much. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have opinions on that, but kind of a lot of the times we feel like a laugh is a laugh. Right, Rob?
Absolutely.
To add in, for my 2 cents, I agree with Pat.
Oh, that's great.
That never
Rob,
happened.
you have some excellent characters as well. I'm curious, you know, were you all involved in creating the characters for the show?
Yeah. Have you ever seen that Stephen King movie where he writes a novel and it becomes real life? It's a horror movie. I forgot what it's called. But we found out while making this show that Pat has that power. So he was writing about me going through a breakup. I was actually going through a breakup. And yeah. So a lot of it was just one-to-one real life stuff that we were dealing with at the time.
Yeah. You were saying earlier, you know, like about the industry, inside baseball stuff. That too was all really real. We were like, you know,
Episode 2, the bad reviews.
yeah,
In our second episode, we spin off on this like spiral of anxiety because we get a bad review on IMDb, but it's actually
One bad review. Yeah.
Real.
that was a real review that we got when we just threw the episode up on Amazon.
It was the only review.
Yeah. We don't know who that person is. They did not like us.
James SP62749.
And we based him, we did a lot.
So he's
off
the
of
main.
that.
He became the main villain of the show.
So you mentioned you're building the plane while you're flying, and for anybody that's listening that wants to check out the show and get an understanding of what it is we're talking about, it's available now to stream at nuku.com, NUKHU.com. Set up your profile and you could start watching immediately. When you're building the plane as you're flying, does that put you in situations where you've captured everything that's supposed to be in the show, you get to the editing bay, and then there's something I wish we would have done differently? How many times did that happen over the stretch of making the show?
Oh,
Many.
every single time.
many
Well, because
times.
we were a small crew, we could reshoot stuff if we really wanted to, which we did sometimes.
Did you do some reshoots in the first season?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we reshot the whole first episode narrative to switch it from the zoom to the more high value touch. And then, yeah, there were times where we had to go get pickups that we missed. We didn't have a script supervisor on set. We were all just kind of all wearing a bunch of different hats. So we do as best as we could. But, when you're doing very quick kind of guerrilla, fast paced production, you just have to be able to pivot.
I think also we didn't shoot the sketches with an episode order or layout in mind. We kind of just did the sketches over time and thought of them on a one-to-one basis. And then the narratives through each episode, we just thought of those as one big sketch also. And then in post, we figured out how to put the blocks together.
Yeah, a lot of the writing happened on the set on the day. The whole strongest stream joke in episode 3.
Yeah.
Our
key stream.
That all happened in the moment. We just did it in his, and then he decided to do it his, and then I did it in mine. And so, that's not something we wrote and planned to do that day, but we found it extremely funny. So it became part of the show.
If someone were to watch 2 or 3 of the episodes and there's someone that might be younger versions of yourselves going, that is something that I want to be doing. It's something I should be doing, but they have like a little bit of fear to actually put pen to paper or gather people together to, or make some sort of time investment or financial investment to make it come to fruition. What advice would you have for them now that you're on this side of that particular part of your journey?
I would say the first advice I would give is become an alcoholic in your early 20s, and then really dive into that. Get sober, move to a different state, and then do what you want to do, because you spend so much time being an alcoholic.
That's his advice.
There's a man with a plan right there. You're going to be faced with the kids. You're going to be faced with the inclination to drink. Trust that in.
Yeah. Yeah, and just fail anyways. Just fail and keep making things and learn from failures.
Yeah. I think what you're talking about is the fear of maybe putting something out there and having people not like it. I think we're still doing that right now. I think you just have to, that's the actual muscle you got to build up. You got to be able to put stuff out there that is going to suck, and you just keep going until, hopefully you get better at that thing. But if you love doing it, you will. You'll just keep doing it.
Well, putting things out there that are going to suck and continuing to try. If Nuku had money to print things on, we'd print that right on the first dollar. Sanjay,
we put out a lot of
that.
No, I definitely appreciate the level of humility that you guys brought to this show, because I think, what you're trying to do here is you're definitely trying to create the image or the presentation of we know what we're talking about, we know what we're doing, we're pros at this, but at the same time, we suck. And that duality, I think, is key and kind of makes your show more relatable and more, I think, relevant, authentic in this time.
Wow. I never thought it'd be that deep.
There's our bio.
We were just making dick jokes.
So you guys got a lot of guest stars to come and help you out with this. Some of them are either influencers or content creators in their own right. I'm curious how you found some of these people. You got Ryan Flanagan. I think he was a doctor in one of the episodes. So I'm curious how you ended up collaborating with some of these folks.
Yeah, most of the cast is thanks to Rob. Rob does stand up here mostly in LA and has a huge Rolodex of just really hilarious people that all were amazing and just decided they would come be a part of our show. And so we just had the funniest cast, because it's these are the people that are doing stand up in LA all the time. And then Ryan, I actually met in an acting class. And so I had decided a long time ago that, he's just hilarious and I wanted to find something to do with him. And so when this role came out, I thought of him first, and I think think we
was,
nailed it.
yeah, he's better than anything we could do.
Yeah.
I think he was amazing.
Kasim G is a friend of mine. He's amazing. You see him in a few sketches too. So we really just pulled from our friend group and people that we knew that were super funny and got pretty lucky.
Anybody that does any kind of networking understands the value of that. It's the people that don't get out there and don't make those connections that may be skeptical of how powerful networking actually could be. It's the Nuvee Club Podcast. We're talking with Rob Pugliese, Richard Roy, and PK Simone from the Red Rob Roy Show. I just finished Michael J. Fox's latest book. It's called Future Boy. It's about the making of Back to the Future. And he talks a lot about the fact that the movie was started with Eric Stoltz, and then they recast it. And once he came to the movie, his comedy timing was kind of what changed everything. And even Robert Zemeckis and Steven Spielberg and all his co-stars said the same thing. When you guys are shooting an episode of the Red Rob Roy Show, which you can stream at nuku.com, do you find the comedy timing in the moment is more valuable than the comedy timing that you have to enact when you're editing? Or is it the other way around?
I think I see where you're going with this, Big Mike. And yeah, we've been trying to recast Rich this entire time. I think if you
nice way to say it.
If
a nice way to
it was a really nice way to put it. And if there's anyone in the chat that is
I do the
interested,
sound
because there are heavy edits. Heavy edits when he's on scene.
Yeah, sound doesn't matter in production. We really, I think it's both.
Both are very important.
Yeah, we spend just as much time, I think, on set deciding the timing of a joke as we do in the editing room, frame by frame.
And who has the ultimate say, or is it like a community decision?
Well, it's funny you bring that up, Mike.
Oh,
No,
it's hard-hitting journalism here at the Nuvee Club Podcast. We're not just going to toss you the cream puff questions.
We are actually surprisingly democratic in our decision making.
group conscience. If 2 out of 3 decide it, we leave it at that.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Plenty of arguments.
a lot of like dedication to the best idea winning, which sometimes takes a couple nights of discussion and buying these guys food to calm them down, but we usually always get there. Yeah, if you end up watching the show and get to season or episode 4 of the 70s show, 6.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
episode 6. Like that conversation you hear that we wrote in that is a real conversation that we've had describing like what we think about comedy. Same with kind of the cricket sketch. Yeah, like sometimes we literally will record our fights and our arguments on our phone, and that will become part of the script.
It's funny you bring up Michael J. Fox and Back to the Future, because if you did see episode 4, we took a little bit of inspiration from that.
We had a time machine episode.
The time machine episode.
Yeah.
Let's take a little different spin on it.
You got that little bit of after-school special moment there, sitting on the couch.
That's definitely what. Yeah, that's what.
Your younger self, and you convince yourself to embrace that instinct to drink.
Survival.
So, I'm curious, guys, maybe inspirations like previous comedians or previous types of shows did you use as inspiration for creating this?
It's going to be all different.
UCB, Upright Citizens Brigade, Kids in the Hall,
Monty Python.
SNL. My arms look kind of like ripped if I do this right now, Mike. What do you think?
A little bit. I
I
like
just keep
it.
back on that.
Rich, some of your reactions, just in terms of going back to comedic timing, just your facial expressions and a lot of the jokes and a lot of the scenes really help aid in the comedic factor in a lot of them.
Yeah. Do you hear him?
I think that was the editing.
A lot of that CGI.
We had a strong VFX team that really helped.
We had a facial stand-in for Rich whenever we would do his close-ups.
Is that why I always wore a green hood?
Yeah.
So after making this whole show, you guys are after when did you finish editing it?
Next week.
I guess the beginning of this year.
Yeah, somewhere around end of last year, beginning of this year.
So close to a year now, having finished it behind you, it being out in the open, like has going through this process changed you at all as creatives?
The human. Yeah.
How would you say so?
We don't talk anymore. We had to force ourselves into this room together.
Strictly professional from here. After that, we don't really communicate outside of the show.
We go through intermediaries.
Yeah. Our professional etiquette is through the roof.
Pretty good. Personally, not great.
Hate them.
But I think you got to have a lot of time. You got to have a lot of dedication and a lot of like joy for making comedy. Because if you try and even with like some of your best friends, put together 6 episodes worth of content and like writing and shooting and editing, it is a incredibly draining process. And to like remember all the way to the end that you are doing this because you're trying to put out some like funny art that you're proud of, you really have to do some soul searching in that, because you're going to run into a lot of hurdles, and you just you got to be dedicated to the project. Yeah.
In watching the episodes that I watched and now having this conversation with you, it makes me think of this situation where now more than ever, there are people that become successful, become famous, what have you, simply by being themselves. And obviously, in talking to you and watching the episodes that I watched, you can see that there is a lot of each of you in what it is you're doing. Obviously, it seems like that's part of the point. As you're creating this, has there ever been a situation in that first season where you say, I can either make this way more personal, put way more of myself into this skit or this character, or I can make it a little bit more fugazi and make it a little bit more, entertaining. And when you hit that fork in the road, if you hit it, what determines which way you go?
The final part of your question is whatever's the funniest. But
Yeah, there's a lot of shit Rich has done that I don't think he wanted to do.
yeah, they make me do all the embarrassing
The
stuff.
funniest thing to do, and you can't argue that it's the funniest. So
Yeah, and I can't argue that it's not the funniest that I do it. So I'm the guy in the diaper. I'm the guy with the shirt off in the woods.
yeah,
Naked on the couch.
I was the guy bathing in milk in my underwear, and Sanjay was the one who was filming it, and it got us on the Tonight Show. So I definitely understand.
That seemed like a personal thing you didn't need to bring up.
Well, we did it for fun, and then we filmed it for art.
smart.
Art imitates life, imitates art.
Speaking back to the whole being heavily inspired by personal experiences and things going on in our life.
Was that the end of the sentence?
I thought a question was coming too. I was like, this is going to be a good question. I could feel it. I could feel a good question coming on. Sanjay's about to knock this one out of the park.
That was amazing.
That was a real cock tease.
It was just the setup.
just edged us. Wow.
That's good comedy right there. So when you guys are talking about going back to the struggles of making it as content creators, as comedians, I'm curious how you see now the landscape for and the opportunities for independent creatives. Like how are you navigating the space now?
Great question. I think we have been throwing a lot of things at the wall and seeing what sticks, kind of. We seem to be doing, we've always kind of been this hybrid social, but like trying to get this TV show out there idea. And the end result is that we have sold it. And there's always a social element, these days. And there are tons of people that are just going that route and doing really, really well. So I think we want to do both. We started as just making online social sketches before this show even became a thing,
It's a different muscle making the social, like Instagram, Facebook sketches than making long form TV show sketches.
Right.
We're honing that craft now, I guess.
But we live in a
Rich, you want to speak a little more to that, Rich? How would you characterize the differences?
No one has an attention span anymore. And, I don't know if you're a TikTok enthusiast like we lost
Mike.
If you're on TikTok, if you're not interested in it in the first 2 seconds, you're going to keep swiping. So it's like, how do we keep someone's interest in the first 2 seconds? Because sometimes with a sketch, it's like you escalate, you build from something until it's funny, but you kind of have to start escalate, which is hard to do.
Yeah, we're learning the best way to form a social sketch to have it do well, which I think that ends up being a bit of a struggle comedically, because you want to do what's the funniest thing. You don't want to be thinking what's going to be the best thing for the algorithm, but you kind of find yourself in this world where you have to pay attention to both. I don't know. That can be a bummer sometimes, or sometimes it just works naturally. I think you have to pay attention to it these days if you really want it to do well.
Are there specific resources that you've all found very helpful as you learn that part of the art that you're making?
Just watching other people that have been successful at it, like other sketch groups that have gotten really successful on social media, and how they're doing that, and like, how do we do that? It's probably the best way.
What performs well? You know, like what does our audience respond to, and what do people respond to online that we make, and not making derivative stuff of that, but sort of paying attention to it and trying to get an understanding of why it works.
Big Mike and I often talk about, the recipe for success. It really doesn't come down to the content of the content, what it is you're making, or does it come down to likability politics and people just not like you?
Well, I wonder.
I think that's a good point. I think likability in politics only take you so far. You can get quick, maybe success, but longevity and respect doesn't.
In just the few things that I've done, in the industry that I work in and the brands that I've worked in, most of the time it's really, for lack of a better term, it's a crapshoot. I did something for an appliance store here on the East Coast, and
Bob's Discount Furniture?
No, that's coming though.
It's
It's a company called PC Richard and Son, and I started, I'd say, 6 of their campaigns this year, and it was the one where I was dressed like President Lincoln that really caught on. And when you read the comments, then you start to see kind of where the audience is coming from. And neither me nor their marketing manager nor the marketing managers that I work with know what exactly was that secret recipe. Sometimes it's almost like, let me see where my people are going so I can lead them. You don't know what's going to really hit until it hits, and then you kind of just thank your lucky stars that it did. Do you guys find that in the social stuff you're creating?
Like,
Yeah.
we've made so many sketches where like we think it's hilarious and we put a lot of effort into it, and then we get like 2,000 views, and then we do a sketch where it's a masturbation joke and it just hit it's almost at 4 million views. Yeah. We identify what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think that's probably it's not the most baffling, but it certainly is the thing that most people spend their time on trying to answer that question. I heard somebody, it was like a modern day philosopher, was talking about the way people engage with content now. And he did a lot of research on advertising going through the ages of, at the advent of radio, where it starts, and then TV, and then everything else. And it was almost like he was trying to say, we knew that sex sold. So you say something, you do a sketch about masturbation, and it rocks. But almost now we found that something sells better than sex, and it's kind of this rage thing, whatever, pushes your buttons, whether it's a social issue, a political issue, and then the algorithm kind of like takes you off the deep end. So I just don't know how many people that are trying to create art are that interested in figuring out how to take advantage of that element of the future that we currently face.
Yeah, I think you can't. If you're worried about that, it's going to be worried about what people are going to respond to. It's just going to make you miserable. And the mass response doesn't mean it's good. So you got to do what you like, and trust the people you're around and keep doing that stuff. Because, yeah, it's easy to make a sketch that goes viral. You just say something negative or positive about Trump, or negative or positive about whatever given current thing is, and you can do that. We want to make the shit that we like doing. We don't want to just like have viral videos.
Yeah, because if you were to go out there and slit somebody's throat and it got a big laugh, was it really worth it to get that laugh?
No.
I guess it doesn't really matter at the end of the day if you didn't want to slit the guy's throat.
Yeah.
But for you, Mike, Mr. Feast, I guess is what you'd rather go by. Yeah, Mr. Feast. Sex will always sell for you, so you stick to that.
Ah, yes, that's right. I'm the feast man, which ties back to that little Subway question, but we don't have to talk about that. Yes, but sex is always going to sell. And I prefer to live in that day rather than rage, because I'm a happy-go-lucky kind of guy, as you can tell.
That speaks to all the comment section on the PC Richard and Son videos he was posting as well, too.
Assassinations are trending, so it makes sense that Lincoln would get a lot.
It's funny Sanjay says that, because there was another part of this conversation. So these people are paying me to be in a video to promote their brand, their sale, whatever they're selling.
Their grills.
Yeah. So we did one about their grills, and there were comments about, there's a certain segment of the population that really digs the big man. They're out there. But my point is, even if the video...
They're out there.
They're sitting right in front of you.
They're out there. They're in here.
Oh, really? Yeah, taking a trip out to LAX, man. But even if the video gets 2 million views and 160,000 comments and whatever likes. If they don't sell any grills, then what was the point?
Because you still got paid, right?
I did, but I want to get paid again because I can't live on the salary of one video, just like you guys can't live on the salary of selling one series. So I think if you could figure that out, I think you have there's a lot of value in figuring that out. I just don't know who's figured it out yet.
Now, it speaks to what you were saying too earlier, Rob, that like, just because you get millions of views on something doesn't mean that it's anything that's going to actually translate into anything meaningful for you, meaningful sales, people clicking on your conversion, doing whatever you want them to do. It's just that. It's just, you capitalize on a moment. You got some visibility. You got a couple seconds of fame out of it. But how does it actually translate into you continuing to do and create more of the things that you like to make?
Yeah, exactly. If you don't really love doing the thing that you're doing, whatever it might be, then I think that's a good route to go. You like capitalize on a moment, make all the money you can, and then create an altcoin and steal a bunch of people's money or whatever you like.
Do that.
Yeah.
Good idea.
But really like doing comedy. You want to keep doing comedy, and that's what the reason you're doing it. You can't really, you got to kind of consider the long run.
Yeah. I think anybody that's out there to entertain knows that there is no feeling that matches that moment where you do the thing and you get that big reaction, that just big, that yuck from the audience, whether it's live or if you get the comments that they watch what you put out there. There's nothing like that feeling. And I know I'll probably continue to chase it until I can't chase it anymore. We're speaking with the guys from the Red Rob Roy Show, which is now available at nuku.com, NUKHU.com. Stream it. It's a sketch comedy show unlike anything you've ever seen. We got Rob Pugliese, Richard Roy, and PK Simone. We're getting close to the end of our special edition of the Nuvee Club Podcast. What is next for the Red Rob Roy Show for all the people that go to nuku.com and really dig what they're seeing in that first season of episodes?
Yeah, therapy, separation, trial separations. We're still making sketches, so we're gonna be putting stuff on Instagram and
what's our Instagram?
The Red Rob Roy Show is our Instagram.
I let it. That wasn't a shameless plug. I genuinely forgot.
Also, we're gonna I don't know. If I say it, that means we have to do it. We're going to do a podcast again. So, yeah, starting up the podcast again. But, yeah, we're spitballing ideas for season 2. We're still we're thinking about it. I think it'll be some time before that happens. But it's always been the sketches first. So I think you'll probably see sketches coming out online on our Instagram. And who knows? Maybe we'll have another script to pitch to Tim in a few months.
Do you guys live close to each other, or you guys meet up often, or
too close?
Are you kind of always remotely communicating?
No, we all live in the same part of the city now. We're all in Los Angeles. Richard and I grew up together. We've known him forever. Pat, I met a long time ago, but we became friends out here. And we're all pretty close together.
Did you meet on the West Coast?
I came first. Rob followed me.
I was out here about the same time Rich was. They were both out here first, and then I came after.
Yeah. The first time I met Rob was at a stand-up show in Connecticut, though, where he started.
Yeah.
But then, we started working together out here.
At the beginning, you said that you figure you've been making internet comedy sketches for over a decade now, roughly. If you were to have that experience from your episode where you do time travel back to the younger versions of yourselves 10 years ago, if you could do something different being in this spot that you are now, and you only had like 1 minute to tell them, what would you say?
His friend Trevor Wallace.
He's popular.
Who's Trevor Wallace?
Very successful Instagram comic and stand-up comedian. He took off. He's a good dude. Very fun.
Is he going to be in season 2?
No, he's too important.
Way too big for us.
Yeah.
We'd
Well,
love that.
get him. Come on now. Positive mental attitude.
Just show him this Q&A. He'll love it.
There you go. Send him the link.
Yeah. Does he like fat guys cooking on grills?
That's all he talks about.
So that might be your in.
I think I don't think I would change anything, honestly. Like, I don't think there's any magic sauce unless you get lucky and, someone really close to you makes it big and then takes you along. I think if you don't have that, we were doing exactly what I think you should do, which is just grab a camera, make stuff that you think's funny, put it out there, and, on the platform du jour, and just keep doing it consistently, which is what we did. And
Yeah, I think that if that's not fun, you'll stop doing it. But if you really love that, you won't.
That's over a minute. Rich, what about you?
I would tell myself not to date Layla. About the show. About the show.
Yeah.
I mean, that adds up.
What a help.
The dating of Layla might have helped the show. You don't know.
Help me.
No, I don't know. To not maybe not to. I think
Acting class, writing
some
class.
acting class, some writing class. To not put a lot of pressure on myself in the beginning. I think I did. I wanted it to succeed really badly, like right away, and that added undue stress.
More stress.
Well, you are all a success now, so it's safe to assume that you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Awesome.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, thanks.
Wow.
That's good you said that, because if you didn't, I was going to kill the dog.
Bye-bye,
Yeah.
Jeff.
We have a newbie like that. It's called Woof. Check it out.
Oh, yeah?
Well, someone kills a dog.
One of the things that Sanjay and I talk about a lot when we talk about, we usually bring a movie to the episode to discuss. I'll talk about why I like this particular movie and so forth. And I see a lot of movies. I watch a lot of television shows. And the one question that I always ask myself at the end, after I've consumed it and I've sat with it for a little bit, I ask, why did this thing need to be made? Why did this story need to be told? Because I think if you go to a story, or if you go to a movie, or if you read a book, or if you watch a show and there's no good answer to that particular question, you're probably not dealing with a very good piece of entertainment. So before we let you guys go, why did the Red Rob Roy show need to be made? Why did those stories need to be told?
Getting deep on us, Mr. Feastman.
I think 3 mostly straight white guys doing comedy needed representation.
There's not enough of us out there.
I think I need a voice that needed to be heard.
Our voices need to be
Silence
heard.
for too long.
Yeah.
I don't know. We just want to maybe we like edgy comedy pretty obviously, and maybe just to try to keep that alive and well.
I do think that. I think that, right now is a very interesting time for comedy. There's
Tell
a
me
lot.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of pushback that happens if you cross a invisible line. We deal with that. We've dealt with it recently. It's a very real thing. I do think it's important to push past that line, because I think comedy is important. I really do. I think laughing at almost anything is healthy. And I do think that sometimes comedy itself is persecuted in a way that is not healthy, or the actual atrocities that are happening in the world. And
Talk about some of those.
Yeah.
well, I don't know. Pick it up.
Well, Rob, you have the famous press junket sketch where you're doing the junket and people are all the publicity journalists are asking you questions about some of the hot topics you've said, so the cancelable things that you've said. And I think the show does a pretty good job of kind of addressing that. But again, you are 3 white guys trying to have this commentary on what should and shouldn't be said. I'm curious, do you have any thoughts on bringing some more people of color into your show in the next iteration?
Yeah,
I'm
we had
thinking
too many.
far
Way too many this season.
No women.
Wait, I'm Irish and I hate that. I wish I could be
Hates that about himself.
just
Talks about it
English.
all the time.
No, we just hang. If somebody's funny, we involve them in our show. That's all it is. I don't deciding based on race or sex. I think is something at least I personally think is not the best way to get the best stuff. But we have a lot of people in the show who are, I know a lot of comics that are of all breeds and sexes and races. And if they're funny, we want to be a part of our show. As far as like one of the 4, yeah, that'd be great. We need some marketability. You can find me a local LA comedian who's willing to put in the effort for no money and show up consistently. They're hired.
we're trying to replace Rich.
Did the guest stars and folks, the influencers that you worked with, receive any compensation, or did they all come and do you a solid?
Some of
They
them
paid.
came, yeah. Some of them did dedicate a lot of time early on that they didn't need to, but everyone was paid.
That's awesome. That's testament to you guys and having this full on vision. And yeah, if you can find somebody that again aligns with that and that has a long term vision for you, good luck.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate you having us on here.
Absolutely, it's our pleasure to host you guys. We're happy to have you part of Nuvee Fest 2026. We have almost another 11 months of online voting for the Red Rob Roy show, and you guys are eligible for our next year's development and distribution grant. Very excited to have you in the program. And I'm sure Mike and I will come across your series some more over the next several months.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Well, there you have it. Those are the boys from the Red Rob Roy Show, which you can watch right now at nuku.com. Also learn how to become a Nuku ambassador and earn money for telling people about your favorite movies and television shows. All that information is available at nuku.com. Sanjay, you want to wrap this one in a tight little bow for us?
There you go. Thank you all for joining us for the Red Rob Roy Show Q&A with the filmmakers.
There's
And
Jack.
we do have a final chat question. The question was, is the dog's penis in the cast?
Everywhere. If you pay attention, it's an Easter egg throughout.
It's like
every
Fight Club.
episode.
It's
Yeah,
like Fight Club. There's a bunch of hidden dog dicks throughout.
every.
If you go frame by frame in the business sketch, look out.
We're gonna have to. We will slow down the frames and watch so we could point that out, and maybe even make some hot social media content about it and post. For the gentleman from the Red Rob Roy Show, Sanjay Singh, and everybody here at the Nuvee Club Podcast, this is Big Mike saying thank you so much for joining us, and until next time.